All right, Learn to Love It. So this song, definitely another one of my favorites on the album. It's sometimes hard to pick when you're that close to the songs you make, but overall, just Learn to Love It is definitely a special one for me because honestly, the lyrics of the chorus have been a motto for me for quite some time, ever since I wrote it, really. But get a little, learn to love it, and that's enough. Get a little, learn to love it, that's enough. So basically, where this comes from is it was inspired by two different insecurities that are kind of similar. The first insecurity is one I commonly deal with, but basically just worried that I'm not good enough. I often set really, really high standards for myself that are kind of unrealistic. I don't really know where that stems from, to be honest, but basically just coming up with unrealistic standards and kind of beating myself up whenever I don't meet those. And so that's one of the. I'll dive into that a little bit more whenever I do the video for my song "Better Me." That's also kind of about a similar thing. But the second insecurity that this is kind of inspired by is a very specific one. So at the time that I wrote this, I was probably 6 months, maybe 7 months out from getting married to my wife Hope, and but basically at that time I was really worried that I wouldn't get a good enough job. I wouldn't get one that paid enough or that was impressive enough. And even though some of those are good motivations. Like it's definitely good to provide enough, but to want to make more for selfish reasons or to want to be impressive just to seem better to people, that's definitely the wrong motivation when it gets that far. And so overall, basically, yeah, those were the two main concerns around that. And so even though wanting to be like a good person and also wanting to get a better job. Those are both good things, but I had almost exceeded, actually way more than almost exceeded the level of how much I should be thinking about that and how much I valued that sort of thing. Just because it was getting to be more of a stressor, more of a selfish sort of thing. So God really dealt with me with this, and He reset a lot of my expectations and my standards for it. Although they still kind of get out of whack every now and then, but basically, He did this by reminding me of a certain scripture. It's Mark chapter 8. Let me find it. 8:36. For what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world with all its pleasures and forfeit his soul? And so basically, what I get out of that's actually. I think I read that verse and then I was literally upstairs in my studio. I was feeling so worried about stuff like that I literally was just sitting on the floor with my acoustic guitar and just strumming. And the first words that came out were, "Get a little, learn to love it. That's enough." And really, that's been my motto. Like I said earlier, just because like we aren't called to live with nothing, but we're also called to not be selfish. So there's that middle ground where it's like you get a little, you learn to love it. That's enough. Be content. Don't just like keep striving after the wind, getting things for just selfish reasons, but also don't purposefully live with less. Like, oh, I'm not really worth that much. There's a middle ground where it's like, oh, and what I mean by get a little is not it's tangible things, yeah, but it's also like the way you think about yourself. So like think pretty good of yourself, like respect yourself, but don't go overboard. Get a good job that makes decent money, but don't go way overboard for selfish reasons. Care about what people think of you. You want people to respect you, and if there's a reason they're not, maybe you should examine yourself. But then basically when things get to an unhealthy level, that's when you cut it off. And so really just, yeah, get a little, learn to love it. That's enough. So that's really the whole purpose of the song. And also, I can't do this video without shouting out my wife, Hope, because without her, this song would be called That's Enough. Does not have the same ring to it at all. So shout out to you, Hope, for making this song have a better title.